broken shoulder. It'll take a few weeks to repair, but I'm on the mend.
Thank you. Wish you a speedy recovery.
Chairperson.
Thank you.
And Chair Commissioners, we have for today Mr. Jacobs. Once sworn in, Mr. Vessoni will take him through.
Thank you. Mr. Jacobs, are you going to take an oath or affirmation?
I will take the oath, Chair.
Thank you. Do you swear that the evidence you will give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? If so, raise your right hand and say, "So help me God."
So help me God.
Thank you. Mr. Soni?
As you please, Chairperson. Chairperson, it is Dr. Jacobs, so that's how I'll refer to him.
Yes.
Dr. Jacobs, you've made, you have a bundle in front of you, am I correct?
That's correct.
Right. Now, in that bundle are contained 2 affidavits made by yourself. The first one is dated the 26th of February 2026, and the second one the 25th of March 2026. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Each of those affidavits has a number of annexures to it.
That is correct.
Now, firstly, I'd just like you to confirm the correctness of what is contained in your affidavits.
I confirm.
Yes. Now, these affidavits, were they drawn up by yourself, or were you assisted by members of the Commission or somebody else?
I've drawn up the affidavit myself, and of course with the assistance of legal personnel, with counsel, and but basically I've drafted the
Counsel from the Commission or from outside?
from outside.
Yes. Now, I'm going to deal with each of the affidavits and the annexures thereto in turn. In the first affidavit, and if I can just summarize what the main issues are. The first issue is, the main issue is what happened at the meetings of the interdepartmental task team, or what is also called the TRC committee. Am I correct?
That is correct.
And you also, in that affidavit, respond to certain allegations made about what happened at the task team meetings, allegations made in the Colata affidavits.
That is correct.
And then the third major issue is the allegation made that a memorandum drawn up by Advocate Ackerman, the date on that memorandum had been changed and it appeared to be a forgery.
Yeah, that is the allegation, yes.
Yes. So let's then go back to your first affidavit. I'm going to make frequent reference to the affidavits, tell you where the matters are, but I'd like you to concentrate on what I would call the original documents. In other words, for example, in respect of the minutes, I'd prefer you to learn the commissioners to the actual minutes and what you consider to be significant in them. That's the approach I want to adopt. Are you okay with that?
I'm happy with that, yes.
Let's though deal with your certain matters relating to you. What are your professional qualifications?
Chairperson, I obtained the B. Juris degree in 1978 from the University of the Free State. Thereafter the LLB degree in 1984 and the Diploma in Advanced Public Administration 1998, and then from the University of South Africa, and then from the Pretoria University, the LLD degree in Public Law in 1990, and the DPhil degree International Relations in 2010, also from University of Pretoria.
All those matters you set out in paragraph 7 of your affidavit, am I correct?
That's correct.
And then you also, in paragraph 8, indicate to the Commission some of the training courses that you've been on. Will you briefly tell the Commissioners what those courses were?
Chairperson, I attended a course at the university, at the George Washington University in 1996. The topic Legal Aspects of Terrorism was presented by Professor Jonah Alexander. Also, the Leadership Development Program presented by the School of Public Management at the University of Stellenbosch, 1996-1997. And then a course on the investigation of war crimes, genocide, and crimes against humanity, presented by Interpol in Lyon in January 2009. This was preceded by a conference that was held on the same topic in June 2005.
So one of your areas of interest, and as I understand it, was the topic of your PhD or Doctorate of Laws, was the issue of terrorism in just prior to the institution of our new democracy in 1994.
Yeah, Chairperson, it related to the review of security legislation to bring it in line with the United Nations requirements, as well as some documents of the International Law Association.
And you then deal with your career, and that you deal with from paragraphs 9 to 15 in your affidavit. It is set out in some detail there. Would you summarize for the commissioners your career path?
Thank you, Chair. I started in the Department of Justice on the 5th of December 1975. Thereafter, I studied full-time whilst in the department, and then I did my compulsory military service for 2 years. So on the on January 1981, I started as a public prosecutor in Department of Justice, and then I completed the prosecutor's course with the Justice College in Pretoria, and I prosecuted in the Magistrates Court and in some occasions in the Regional Court. Then I was transferred to the South African Police Service.
Doctor, I don't want to, if you could summarize rather than read what's in there, please.
Yeah. So, Chair, on the 26th of June 1995, I was transferred from Department of Justice to the South African Police Service on the level of Chief Director. And then I dealt mostly with police legislation. In 1996, I promoted the Safety Matters Rationalization Act, which repealed all the security laws in South Africa and the former TBVC states. And then on the 30th of September, I retired from the South African Police Service. And thereafter, I was appointed on contract, 3 one-year contracts and 1 6-month contract with the Civilian Secretariat for Police, where I dealt mostly with the review of the Protection of Constitutional Democracy Against Terrorist and Related Activities Act, as well as a review of the South African Police Service Act. In total, therefore, I have 44 years of service in the Department of Justice, the Civilian Secretariat for Police, the police service in total.
Now, in relation to the to your giving evidence today, in what capacity do you give it?
I give it in the capacity of a retired member of the SABC, and having been involved in some of the meetings that relate to these issues.
Yes. Can I refer you to paragraphs 3 and 4 of your affidavit? And that's where you say that you were issued with a Rule 3.3 notice by the evidence leaders. And it is in response to that notice that your first affidavit was prepared.
That is correct, Chair.
Okay. Now, I want to come back to that, to the matters set out in paragraphs 3 and 4 in some detail in a few, in a little while. First, though, I want to deal with the issues relating to your appointment to the interdepartmental task team and what your observations were at the meetings that you attended. Okay. So will you, in paragraph 17, you point out how it came about that you were appointed to the interdepartmental task team. Is it okay if I just called it the task team?
That's correct, Chair.
Right. Could you tell the Commission how that came about?
Now, the National Commissioner, Commissioner Salebi, received a letter on the 10th of October 2006, which was dated the 6th of October.
Right. Is that letter in the bundle?
The letter is marked as PCJ1 in the bundle, Chair.
And what page of the bundle is it?
It is page 1717.
Yes. All right. And what does that letter say?
It basically confirms that the prosecuting policy regarding conflicts of the past came into effect on the 1st of December 2005. And in terms of the guidelines, all prosecutions will be conducted by the Priority Crimes Litigation Unit. The person who will head that process, Dr. Silas Ramaite. And then in terms of B6 of the guidelines, the PCLU shall be assisted in the execution of its duties by a senior designated official from the SABC. And you are therefore kindly requested to nominate officials. And following that, the National Commissioner nominated myself as well as Major General Lekalakala to serve on that interdepartmental committee.
Okay. Before we get to your nomination, there's a reference to paragraph B6. You deal of the policy, you deal with that in paragraph 20 of your affidavit. Could you indicate to the commissioners what the contents of paragraph B6 are?
That's correct, Chair. The PCLU shall be assisted in the execution of its duties by a senior designated official from the following state departments or other components of the NPA: the National Intelligence Agency, the Detective Division of the South African Police Service, the Department of Justice and Constitutional Development, and the Directorate of Special Operations, which of course was the Scorpions.
Now, as I understand it, though it does not appear expressly from your affidavit, the other departments mentioned in paragraph 20 appear to have nominated persons as well, in addition to the SAPS having nominated persons.
That is correct, Chair.
Yeah. Is there a list of persons who were nominated?
Yes, Chair. On page 1718, it is marked as PCJ2, and the names there is Advocate Ackerman from the NPA.
Well, let's just deal with one thing at a time. Is that the list of persons who were nominated by the different stakeholders mentioned in paragraph 20?
That is correct, Chair.
Right. Now, you'll see on top of PCJ2, it's referred to as the TRC committee members. Is this the same as the interdepartmental task?
That is correct, Chair.
Right. And could you just indicate who were the persons who were nominated and from which department they came?
Thank you, Chair. Advocate Anton Ackerman from the NPA, PCLU. Mr. Mtunzi Mahaga, also of the PCLU, NPA. Dr. Silas Ramaete from the NPA. Marilyn Raswiswi from Department of Justice. Yvonne Mabula from the NIA. Myself and Josh Lekalakala from SAPS, and then Brian Koperi, also from NIA. had A.T. Mjwendwe from the NPA DSO and Mr. Ngidi also from the NPA DSO.
Now, if one looks at PCJ2, from which department were the majority of persons?
The majority of persons were from the NPA, Chair.
Now, in paragraph 23 of your affidavit, you then say that you indicate the dates on which the meetings of the task team were held.
That's correct. That is correct.
Are you there?
I know.
How many meetings of the task team are set out in paragraph 23?
Chairperson, there were 6 meetings in total, starting.
We'll deal with the details. I just want to get, you say they are, and are those minutes annexed to your affidavit?
That is correct, Chair.
Now, did you attend all the meetings?
I've attended all of the meetings, Chair.
And were these the only meetings of the task team to the best of your knowledge?
That's correct, Chair.
And you would have been invited to all the meetings of the task team?
That's correct.
Right. Now, in paragraphs 24 to 28, you deal with what happened at the first meeting. Now, rather than going to your affidavit, I'd rather you looked at the minutes themselves. Where do those minutes appear?
The minutes appear from page 1719, Chair. That is marked as PCJ 3.
And it extends to 1720.
That is correct, Chair.
All right. Will you indicate to the Commission what from the minutes, well, firstly, before we go into the minutes, can I just ask you, you've read all these minutes. No, it doesn't help to shake your head.
Yes,
Dr.
Chair.
Jack. Yes. Now, you attended these meetings.
That's correct.
Do these minutes fairly reflect what happened at the meetings?
Yes, they do.
At different times, you will take us to that. Certain matters were raised during the course of the meetings. But an outsider like us who are not present at these meetings, would they have a fair idea of what happened at the meetings by looking at the minutes?
Yes.
Then can we just go through what appears at page, on the first page of PCJ 3?
Yes, thank you, Chair.
Well, sorry, before you, and I apologize. Can you indicate who was present at this meeting?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, at this first meeting, Advocate Vusi Pikoli attended from the NPA.
I think refer to the date first.
It was on the 12th of October, Commissioner.
12th October
What?
2006.
2006, correct, sir.
Thank you.
Advocate Vusi Pikoli attended together with Kalyani Pillay.
Mr. Piccoli what was his position at that time?
He was the National Director of Public Prosecutions.
He's the one who sent the invitations
That-
or asked for nominations.
That is correct, Chair.
Yes.
Then Advocate Kalyani Pillay, who was working with Mr. Pikoli. Mr. Manzini, he was the Director General of the NIA. Mr. Loyiso Yafta from the Presidency. Mr. Simelane, the DG of Justice. Dr. Ramaite, the NPA, and he was also the convener. Advocate Ackerman.
Sorry, that was in terms of the original letter written by the NDPP.
That is correct, sir.
Yes.
Then Advocate Ackerman, NPA, myself, Mr. Brian Kopedi from the NIA, Mr. Ngiri from the DSO, Mr. Ngwendwe from DSO, Yvonne Mabule from NIA, Marlon Raswiswi from Justice, and Mr. Josh Lekalakala from SABC, as well as Advocate Mtunzi Maga, also from the NPA.
Right. Can I just ask, in respect of the persons number 10 and 11, the DSO, would that be considered to be part of the NPA?
Although they were established in terms of separate legislation or legislation within the NPA Act, they did fall under the NPA, broadly speaking.
And they would be involved in prosecutions?
Well, you will recall that the DSO worked on a basis where the prosecutors and investigators worked together. So they worked.
Is the answer yes or no?
The answer is they work mainly on investigations. The decisions for prosecutions are taken by the prosecutors.
So they came in as investigators, not as prosecutors?
That is correct, Chair.
But representing the DSO?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And then, who drew up the minutes of these meetings?
The minutes were drafted by Advocate Mtunzi Maga.
All the minutes?
All the minutes, yes.
And he is from?
He is from the NPA,
Right.
the PCLU.
Okay. Let's get now to the main aspects of the minutes, as what you regard as the main aspects of the minutes. If you could tell the Commissioner, alert the Commissioners to what those are.
Yes, Advocate Piccoli opened the meeting and indicated that the establishment of the committee is derived from those policy guidelines, and the cases in possession of the PCLU and SABC have to be identified, and an update on their status is also required. SABC has to provide investigating officers for all cases identified for prosecution, and the NDPP emphasized the fact that he will decide on each prosecution and not the committee. The role of the committee will be to make recommendations to the NDPP on each case.
Just if we could just... Now, when you say the NDPP, are you saying that he is the person at the meeting who emphasized this?
That is correct, Chair.
Right. And the committee is talking about the task team or the TRC committee?
That is correct.
Right, yes.
Then Mr. Manzini from the NIA indicated that these cases need to be prioritized and the process needs to be fast-tracked.
Can I just ask you, when he's talking about these cases, what cases is
it? It is the cases that emanated from the TRC process that had been directed to the NPA to deal with.
Yes.
Mr. Soni, can I just confirm something? Just on that first paragraph, it says there SABC has to provide investigating officers for all cases identified for prosecution. Is that concur with your recollection?
That is correct. That is what is in the minutes. Right. Of course, the DSO are also members here, so they would have shared that responsibility.
Thank you.
Yes, Dr. Jacobs.
That Dr. Ramahite indicated that there is a need for a task team of investigators to work on these cases, and the NDPP further indicated that Mr. Ramahite is the convener and the PCLU will report directly to Mr. Ramahite.
Dr. Ramahite.
That's right.
Yes.
Chairperson, if I...
Sorry. Now, that's what's reflected on page 17, with the first page of PCJ 3. Now, did the main persons from the NPA remain at the meeting?
Chairperson, after the opening remarks, the committee was, the members of who have been nominated by departments were asked to stay behind to have a separate meeting. And at that meeting, which was very short, Mr. Ramahite requested the PCLU and SABC to compile an audit report of all the cases in their possession, and that the investigations will be assisted by the SABC. Mr. Ngidi indicated that the committee members will not be rubber stamps to decisions already made by the PCLU, and he was supported by Mr. Khampepe, who said that they are prepared to go through volumes of records. Just for clarification, Mr. Ngidi was from the DSO.
Can I just ask, at the top of page 120, there is a reference to principles.
Yeah.
Right. Can I ask you to turn to page 1718, that's PCJ 2.
That is correct, Chair. The principals are referred to as Advocate Vusi Pikoli, the NDPP, Ms. Kalyani Pillay from the NPA, Mr. Loyiso Yafta from the Presidency, Mr. Similani, Advocate Similani from the DG of Justice, as well as Mr. Mancini, the DG of NIA.
Now, one name that is missing from here is Commissioner Salebi.
That's correct, Chair.
Was he obviously was not present
Chair, he was not present, but I tendered an apology for
on
his absence.
behalf.
Yes,
And this was at the meeting,
that's correct, Chair.
but it's not reflected in the minutes.
No, it's not reflected.
All right. Now that, in your view, fairly sums up what happened at the first meeting of the TRC committee.
That's correct, Chair.
All right. Can we then, and then in paragraphs 29 to 31, you describe what happened at the second meeting. Now, when did the second meeting take place, Dr. Jacobs?
Chairperson, the second meeting, the minutes is on page 17201, and that is PCJ 4, took place on the 25th of October, 2006.
Right. And then if I can just make the point, it looks like there was a smaller attendance at this meeting. It looks like there were 9 people at this meeting.
That is correct, Chair.
All right. Who were the 9 people at this meeting?
Dr. Ramaete, Advocate Anton Ackerman, Commissioner Jacobs, Brian Khampepe, Yvonne Mabule, Marilyn Raswiswi, Ntlantla Ngidi, Josias Lakalakala, and Mtunzi Mahaga.
Right. Can I then ask you to the minutes appear to be conveniently divided into 3 paragraphs.
That's
You
correct.
see that? All right. And in the first paragraph, it's recorded that Advocate Ackerman presented an audit report of all the cases in the possession of the PCLU.
That's correct.
And then there is a commentary on what that audit report indicates. Dr. Jacobs, I'm just asking you, is that correct? Because I want to deal with this matter in a slightly different way.
That is correct.
Right. The second paragraph deals with a report you made. Now, can I just ask, the report that Advocate Ackerman made, is that annexed to your minutes?
That is correct, Chair. It is.
No, just answer the questions, please, Mr. Dr. Jacobs. It's going to take all day otherwise. Is it annexed to your affidavit?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm going to come back to it in a minute. And that's why I want to, I'd rather control the process. Now, in regard to paragraph 2, that's the audit report you presented. Did you present a report?
Yes, Chair, I did, not in writing.
So it wasn't in writing?
No.
Okay. And so obviously there is no report attached. Okay.
That's
Now,
correct.
what is said about the report that you presented in the minutes?
It is said that I indicated that I was not hands-on in these TRC cases, and that one Henny Britz, who has since retired from the SABC, has better knowledge as he dealt with these cases. And I also indicated that I will seek the services of Mr. Britz to compile a detailed report. And Dr. Ramaiti then remarked that the prosecutorial decision on all these matters rests with the NDPP.
Let's finish paragraph 2 first. He was given until the 6th of November. Who's he?
But
It must be a reference to yourself.
to myself, that's correct.
Yes. That's why I want you to read, to listen to my question so that, Dr. Jacobs, can I just make a point? There are minutes here. You were at the meeting. The commissioners and the rest of the people here were not at the meeting. It is for you to try and explain to everybody what happened at the meeting. And it's only you who can do that. So that's why I'm taking it painstakingly. All right. So you were to provide a committee with this report.
That's correct.
All right. Then what does the third paragraph deal with?
The third paragraph reads that Mr. Ramaiti remarked that the prosecutorial decisions in all these matters rest with the NDPP, assisted by other agencies, and that the PCLU has to guide the committee on all these cases. It was then agreed that the committee will meet on 6 November and the venue will be announced.
With regard to Dr. Ramaite's observation that the prosecutorial decisions rest with the NDPP, as I understand it, he was echoing what Advocate Piccoli had said in the first meeting.
That is correct, Chair.
Now let us go to the document that you referred to, that's PCJ 5.
That is correct, Chair. That is
Is this the audit report presented by Advocate Ackerman?
that is correct, Chair.
Right. Now, in the commentary under the first line, it is said that the report consisted of 3 categories of cases. But when one looks at the report, you will see, and that report appears at starts at page 1723, is that correct? You will see, though, it starts with a historical background relating to the TRC cases.
That's correct.
Now, is that the background that Advocate Ackerman talked to at the meeting?
That is correct.
I'd just like you to look at paragraphs 1.14 on page 1724, and then go on to paragraph 1.19. Do you tell the commissioners what is said in that report?
Chairperson, it was decided that Advocate Ackerman would take over the cases dealt by FIC and McAdam would take over the DSO cases. And then the PCLU conducted an audit of all the cases in both offices.
So sorry, are you familiar with what these 2 offices are?
Yes, Chair, the offices are referred to on the previous page, where it is said in paragraph 1.2, the team was divided into 2 groups, one focusing on offences committed by security force members, and the other group on offences committed by the liberation movements and the right wing.
Okay. So the group, the matters that Mr. Ackerman or Advocate Ackerman was to deal with fell into which group?
Well, as I understand, under the second group, the liberation movements.
Okay. And Mr. McAdam?
Then, of course, the other group that relates to the to the security force members.
Yes, okay. Now, it was said that the PCLU conducted an audit of all the cases. Then in paragraph 1.15, reference is made to the number of dockets and so on. Can you place that on record?
Yes, Chair, the auditing process was in respect of the police. It was done by the police office at Fix office at the DPP, and it was 395 police dockets.
Okay. And these related to the liberation movement?
That is correct, Chair.
Okay. And then 1.16?
During 2003 and 4, Advocate Ackerman declined to prosecute in plus minus 80 of the above mentioned cases.
Right. And 1.17?
Plus minus 50 cases from the DSO were finalized by McAdam and Ackerman.
All right. Now, can I just ask, were any details of these cases given, or were just those numbers given?
But, basically, the numbers were given, Chair.
And then paragraph 1.18 on the following page.
The audit process further identified a small number of cases warranting prosecution, which are dealt with hereunder.
All right. And that's in the rest of the report. I take it hereunder would be the rest of the report.
That is correct, Chair.
Okay. And 1.19?
The 395 police dockets which were in the possession of Nell and Britz, those were the two SABC members assisting in the process, were returned to SABC, and the NDPP informed Commissioner Tim Williams that these dockets were police property and that the NPA has no interest in them, except if SABC desired prosecutions, in which case they could be resubmitted for these purposes. The then Director General of Justice, Mr. Picoli, and other high-ranking officials were present when this discussion between the NDPP and Williams took place. As of the date of this memo, no such dockets have been resubmitted or have been submitted to the NPA for decision.
Okay, so this is now Advocate Ackerman indicating what had happened to those 395 dockets.
That is correct, Chair. They were handed over in 2004 to the SABC.
Were you present at that handing over?
No, I was not present.
Okay. All right. Then if you look at page 1725, under paragraph 2, there's a heading which sets out the cases that were finalized in court, and 4 cases are referred to.
That is correct.
Right. So this is again Advocate Ackerman's report saying these were the matters that were dealt with that had been finalized in court.
That is correct.
And then in paragraph 3, if you look towards the end of that page, he deals with the matters that were closed by the PCLU, and you'll see it goes from 3.1 to 3.26, I think it is, on 3.25 on page 1729.
That is correct.
And those cases indicate the persons whose cases it was. Like, for example, the Timor matter is the first one.
That is correct, Chair.
And then at 3.26, what does the report say? It's at page 1729.
Now, plus minus 80 cases against members of the liberation movement, Ackerman. All these cases were investigated by SABC and were all closed.
So that's a further report he's making. I take it is in regard to the 395 cases.
That is correct, Chair.
All right. I want to come back to this when we deal with the next annex here, because as I understand it, at this meeting, it was said that Advocate Ackerman must provide more details in regard to these cases.
That is correct, Chair.
And they are then replicated with more details in the next report that he presents.
That's right.
Would I be correct?
That is correct.
And then in paragraph 4 after that, Advocate Ackerman refers to potential prosecutions that were identified by the PCLU, and he identifies a total of 22 cases. If you look, it's 4.1 to 4.22.
That is correct.
Now, again, I ask, were any details about these matters given?
No, Chair, that was not a detailed rundown.
Now, let's get back to the PCJ 4, paragraph 1. And if you could just read what is said about what is contained in Annexure PCJ 5. 1731 now, Mr. So it says, Advocate Ackerman presented an audit report of all cases in possession of the PCLU. Well, would you indicate what is said in the minutes in regard to PCJ 5?
PCJ 5. Is it the second paragraph that
No,
you were
the
referring
first
to?
paragraph.
First paragraph.
These
The
were
three categories.
Yes.
There were 3 categories of cases dealt with the PCLU. Cases that were finalized in court, matters closed by the PCLU in the form of representations from relatives of victims and victims themselves, as well as matters pending which have been identified by PCLU for prosecution.
If you could just hold on for a moment. Is this what Mr. Ackerman said during the course of sorry,
What page?
1721.
1721.
That's correct.
1721.
1721, PCJ 4.
Yeah. Oh, please, 1721.
Yes. Yes, we proceed.
So I'm just asking in relation to these matters about the representations being made by relatives of victims and victims themselves. Was this what Advocate Ackerman presented at that meeting?
That's correct.
Because it doesn't appear in the report itself.
No, there's no mention in the report
Okay.
of the
So-
details.
But if the meetings correctly reflected what happened, this is what Mr. Ackerman would have said to that meeting.
Yes.
Right. And then carry on then?
In some cases, members requested full report on how the matters was disposed of. For example, Ms. Mabule requested the PCLU must show consistency in their report by giving a detailed report on all cases. It was agreed that matters that have been finalized in court cannot be entertained in the committee.
Right. So it is as a result of that issue that members wanted more details relating to, as I understand it, the cases that were closed, that Mr. Ackerman presented a second audit report.
That is correct, Chair.
Right, we'll come to that in a moment. And that he did at the next meeting of the TRC committee. Is that correct?
That is correct, Chair.
Right. Now that next meeting takes place on which date?
The meeting took place on the 6th of November 2006.
All right. And are there minutes of that meeting?
The minutes address is on page 1735, PCJ 6.
It's annexure PCJ 6 to your affidavit.
Correct.
And do the minutes reflect who was present at this meeting?
Present were Advocate Ackerman, Commissioner Jacobs, Brian Kopedi, Yvonne Mabule, Marilyn Raseswi, Nhlanhla Ngidi, Josias Lakalakala, and Mtunzi Maga.
Now, in the second paragraph of the minutes, is the point is made that Mr. Ackerman dealt with the revised audit report.
That's correct.
Is the audit report annexed to your affidavit?
That is correct, Chair. Page 1737, PCJ 7.
Okay. Can we deal with that quite quickly, the audit report? Now, remember, and this is just so that persons not familiar with this matter would understand what the relation between this report is and the report that was presented at the previous meeting.
Chair, a lot of the information are the same, although there's more information given.
We'll get to that in a moment, but I'm just saying, is it correct that part of what was contained in the earlier report is repeated in this, but in more detail?
That is correct, Chair.
Right, you'll recall that in the meeting or in PCJ 5, according to the minutes and according to that, there were 3 categories of cases that Advocate Ackerman had dealt with.
That's correct.
Those cases that had been finalized in court, those cases that had been closed, and those cases that were still going to be taken to court. Those 3 categories.
Correct.
Now, PCJ 7 addresses which category of cases? So if you look at PCJ 7 at page 1737, you'll see there under paragraph 2, TCR cases closed.
That's correct, Chair.
It addresses the cases that were closed.
That is correct.
Can I ask you to go back then to PCJ 5, and you'll see that at page 1725, at paragraph 3, which we've already been through, there's a heading, matters closed by the PCLU.
That is correct, Chair.
And you remember I said to you, it appears there were about 25 cases
That is
in
correct.
that category. Can I not ask you to then go back? Oh, sorry. Can I also just ask you, which is the first case on page 1725 in relation to cases that are closed?
Chairperson, the first one is paragraph 3.1, the death in detention of Ahmed Timol.
Okay. And how many sub-paragraphs does that have?
It has 3 subparagraphs, Chair.
Okay. And can I ask you, and I'm sorry to do this to you, could you go to PCJ 7 and under paragraph 2, you'll see that the first case is again the death in detention of Mr. Timol. And how many sub-paragraphs?
That has an additional paragraph. It's 4 subparagraphs.
The one that is more interesting, though, at the moment is, if you look at the next case in paragraph on page 120, which appears at 126, that's 3.2 in PCJ 5. And that deals with the death in detention of Steve Biko.
There's no subparagraphs there, Chair.
There's just one sentence, am I correct?
That is correct, Chair.
And if you look at paragraph page 1738, paragraph 2.2, and that too deals with the debt in detention of Steve Biko.
Correct.
And how many subparagraphs does this have?
7 subparagraphs.
Okay. So effectively, when the members complained at the previous meeting about lack of details, Mr. Ackerman remedied that by providing the further details.
Correct.
Is that a fair summary? And that appears in respect of each of the matters that's dealt with.
Correct, Chair.
You've looked at the matters that are dealt with under matters closed in PCJ 5, and you've looked at what is contained in PCJ 6. Are all the matters contained in PCJ 5 also repeated in PCJ 6?
That's correct, Chair.
You mean PCJ 7?
Sorry, PCJ 7. Thank you, Commissioner. There's just one other matter that I would like to refer to is the case at PCJ 7 marked 2.27, which appears at page 1742C. Commissioners, those were added last night because we didn't have it until the consultation with Dr. Jacobs yesterday. But they have now been added to you, to your file. And that's why it has a C. They've been added after page 1742 in the original documents printed to you. Now, this refers to the case of Mr. Blani. How did that come about?
What page are you?
Sorry, Chairperson. Page 1742C. If I said 1743, I'm mistaken. It's 1742. Sorry, Commissioner.
It's 1742.
42C.
And it's on the number reflecting on that page is 9.
9, that is so, Chairperson. I apologize for that.
Yes.
Chairperson, the Mr. in the Blani case, Mr. Blani was out of the country when other persons involved in this crime was prosecuted. And eventually when he returned, there was a decision to prosecute him in the Eastern Cape.
Right. And that was added to this list. Then.
That is correct.
Right. Then can I also then ask you, if you went back to PCJ PCJ 7, you will see that...
Give us the page numbers, it's easier for us.
Yes, 1742B, Chairperson. It's the page just before that one. And that page, case number 2.23. Do you have that, Mr. Jacobs?
Yes, Chairperson.
What case is that? What case is referred to there?
Chairperson, the leadership of the ANC, 37, applied for amnesty, and this amnesty was refused, and the TRC found that the ANC...
Well, just read what's contained in Mr.
Yeah.
Ackerman's affidavit, Ackerman's report.
The TRC refused amnesty to the President and plus minus 37 other high-ranking ANC members, certain of whom held ministerial positions or other key positions in government. The TRC found that they had not disclosed that they had committed specified offences. There was no evidence implicating them in criminal offences and the file was closed. The NDPP, Mr. Nguka, made a media statement to this effect as the DA was making an issue of the matter.
Okay. So we know now that this issue was addressed by Mr. Ackerman in his report.
That's correct, Chair.
Can I ask you then to turn to page 1729, and that is the first audit report of Mr. Ackerman, the one which was said to not have the details. And if you look at page, if you look at the case referred to in 3.23, what does that say in regard to the amnesty application made by the ANC 37?
No evidence that specific crimes had been committed which attracted personal criminal liability could be found. Consequently, the case was closed.
Okay, so the details now contained in the second report also indicates that the public had been informed about this decision as well.
That's correct, Chair.
Chairperson, I see it is 11 o'clock. I wonder whether you want to take the adjournment now, because
Yes,
I'm
we'll
going on
take
to the
a
next
tea adjournment and reconvene at 11:15.
as you please.
Mr. Soni, we know that you're skipping dates of the meetings. Dates are important.
I entirely agree and I apologize.
Okay.
Commissioner. Dr. Jacobs, I go back to PCJ 6 now. This is the minutes of the meeting, the third meeting held on the 6th of November 2006.
Page 1735.
1735, Commissioner. Now, we've dealt with, in the second paragraph of the minutes, it says, Advocate Ackerman dealt with the revised audit report. We've been through most of his report. But you'll see here, after it says the report, it says which incorporated certain things. Can you just read that into the record, please?
Pardon, Mr. Soni?
Okay. Have you got
I am on...
1735?
Yes, that's right.
The first few words says Advocate Ackerman dealt with the revised audit report.
Yeah.
Then it goes on to say which incorporated something.
That's good.
What did it incorporate according to these minutes?
Yes, sorry, Chairperson, it incorporated complaints or concerns that Advocate Ackerman had regarding the appointment or obtaining the services of Senior Superintendent Britz.
Yes. Okay. Now, he dealt with that in his report, am I correct?
That is correct, Chair.
And where would we find it in his report?
The concerns, Chairperson, is on page 1742D.
Right, and that's page 10 of the report,
That's right.
of the audit report.
That is correct.
Right. Now, in essence, what were Advocate Ackerman's concerns about Superintendent Britz?
Chairperson, the concern was that he was a former member of the security branch of the SAP, and prior to the PCLU being involved with the TRC cases, he assisted the DPP Pretoria with cases involving the liberation movement. Former Police Commissioner van der Merwe had formed an organization entitled the Foundation for Equality Before the Law, which was intended to ensure that no further prosecutions of security branch members would take place. And Advocate Ackerman stated, when I and my staff were appointed to take over the TRC cases in the DPP office, we gained a firm impression that Britz was not only very sympathetic towards this organization, but had regular contact with General van der Merwe. In particular, Britz tried to persuade me and my deputy on numerous occasions that there was a provable case of terrorism against President Mbeki. This was raised in the context that there were security branch members to be prosecuted. The President would also have to be charged. It was clear that he was against prosecutions of security branch members. Despite his claims, he could never produce a docket implicating the President. At one stage, he informed me that the docket was with General van der Merwe and his legal advisor. This raises a serious question as how an official police docket could be retained by General van der Merwe, who was not entitled to possess police material after his retirement from SABC.
Okay. And on the next page, he elaborates on his concerns.
That is correct, Chair.
Right. Now, we'll come back to, because this issue about the complaints and the way they were dealt with is raised in the next meeting as well.
That is correct, Chair.
Right. We come back to it at that point, but we know as a fact that in this report, Advocate Ackerman had complained about the appointment of Mr. Britz. And you did respond to it, and we'll deal with that fully in a little while. Now I then ask you, though, is that you too at this meeting, this is the meeting of the 6th of November, you also presented a report.
That is correct, Chair.
Now, you remember at the previous meeting you had presented a report and you said, as you understood it, it was an oral report.
That is correct, Chair.
Now, on this occasion, was it an oral or written report?
It was a written report, Chair.
And is that report annexed to your affidavit?
Yes, Chair. Page 1743, Annexure PCJ8.
All right. Now, that report is said to be a report on audit document of South African Police Service TRC related matters.
That is correct.
Did you compile this report?
That is correct, Chair.
Right. Now, I don't want to go through the whole report, but the first, you make the point that this has been produced as a result of this request from the committee.
That is correct, Chair.
Right. And then in 2.1, you deal with a particular case, and that comes up again in relation to the change of date in the document that Mr. Ackerman had drawn up.
That's correct, Chair.
All right. So let's just deal with that case. That's Messina CR 57/11/85, MZ Nube, and two others.
That's correct, Chair.
Now, where did you get that?
Chairperson, I was given a copy of the decisions that Advocate Ackerman has made, a copy of all the documents that was in a bundle referring to the decisions on the particular cases that he dealt with.
You were given a bundle of documents.
That is correct.
By whom?
By Senior Superintendent Louis Bester, who was in custody of those documents.
In whose custody the
That is
documents
correct.
were? Yes. And when were you given this bundle?
It was just after the opening meeting that we had when I started to work on this process.
Okay.
I interacted with Senior Superintendent Louis Bester about the way forward on how we will do an audit of the police cases.
So, can I just ask in relation to that, were you given the dockets themselves?
No, Chairperson, I was given the decisions that were made.
So these are the decisions made by Mr. Ackerman
That is correct.
in relation to each of these cases.
That is correct, Chair.
Right. And about how many cases were dealt with in that bundle?
The bundle contained of 73 decisions that were made.
By Mr. Ackerman.
That's correct.
And he dealt with what is to happen in respect of each of those matters.
That is correct, Chair.
Right. Now, in this report, you deal with, if you look at, it starts at 2.1 and you go down and it comes to 2.7 at page 1747. Am I right?
That is correct.
You've chosen, of those 73, you've chosen 7 cases.
That's correct.
All right. Let's just deal with the first one because that is the more important one. And can you just say what is contained in your report, because it has importance not only for what is contained in your report, but for what happens in regard to the document where the date was changed.
Correct, Chair.
Okay. Would you read that into the record, please?
Chairperson, the case related to landmine explosions which took place in Messina and also in the Aldays area, and the death of 2 police officials. In his report on the matter, Advocate Ackerman indicated that the ANC had approved the use of landmines and orders in this regard were given by the command structure of Umkhonto we Sizwe to members, amnesty judgment of those involved, in brackets. According to the evidence, those mentioned were under the command of one Manchek, who gave orders and who had to report to MK commanders. All the other ANC members, foot soldiers, who were involved in these crimes are deceased. Advocate Ackerman made the following decision: in respect of the so-called foot soldiers, no further investigation is necessary. In respect of the ANC leadership who gave orders for the landmines campaign and who have not received amnesty, a decision need to be taken at an opportune time after consulting with all relevant parties. This is a difficult decision. And let-
Sorry, can I just stop you there? You start off right at the beginning, and those words are quoted.
That is correct.
Is that correct?
That's
And then you close quotes.
That is correct.
And then what comes after the quotes are closed?
Chairperson, the date of the document, which was 26 June 2006, and then the PCLU has indicated that the NPA has already decided that no prosecution of cases against ANC NEC members will be instituted. A decision is required on how outstanding inquests of deceased in these matters should be disposed of.
So I just want to ask you, the part that is in quotes, that part is in English.
That is correct, Chair.
Was Mr. Ackerman's document in English?
Chairperson, now we were dealing in English with the matters in the ITT, and I had only all the decisions that were made, the 73, were in Afrikaans. So for purposes of the meeting, I translated it.
Okay, so this is your translation of what Mr. Ackerman's decision was in relation to this particular matter.
That is correct, Chair.
All right. Now, you then say right at the end, in the last sentence, a decision is required on how outstanding inquests of deceased in these matters should be disposed of. Now, of the 73 matters, you bring you include 7 matters in your report. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Why those 7 matters?
Chairperson, in the decisions by Advocate Ackerman, in most of them there were indications that attention should be given to inquests in those matters. And I mean that the NPA said, as we discussed previously, that the dockets were returned, the SAPs were returned by the NPA because they are finished with it. But we thought that these inquests need to be dealt with, especially relating to the families which are involved.
So the purpose of your including it in your report was to get some guidance on the inquests that were to be held,
That is correct.
or whether they should be held.
That is correct.
All right. So that's the case of Nube, and in respect of each of the matters, you'll see, if you look at the second case, that's the Rapolo case, you say at the end of your commentary on the case, Advocate Ackerman indicated on 11th August 2003 that an inquest must be held. According to our information, the inquest is still outstanding.
That is correct.
Now, if you look at 2.3, and at the end of that is a similar observation made in your report, that the inquest, that a recommendation was made that an inquest be held.
That's correct, Chair, and the specific names that appear there comes from the report of Advocate Ackerman.
Okay. And that is in relation to most of these matters. The one that appears to be different is the one marked 2.7 on page 1747. This is the case of Rafiq Rohan.
That is correct.
Now there, as I understand it, nobody was killed.
Yeah.
So what I want to know is why was this included in your report?
Chairperson, I'm not sure, but at the end of that paragraph as well, we said that we assume that this is covered by the decision of the NPA on the ANC leadership.
I see, okay. And then in paragraph 3, you deal with the issue that Advocate Ackerman had raised about having Mr. Britz as part of the team.
Yeah.
Am I correct? Well, what do you say about that?
I just pointed out that in respect of the objections of Advocate Ackerman, in respect of Mr. Britz, it was said at the meeting that we needed to contact him in order to explain the list, as he was the person who dealt with the cases. It was never said or implied that he would be appointed as an investigator. He worked closely with Advocate Ackerman, who requested the SABC from time to time to reappoint him. He also compiled lists of the cases and drafted the key to the huge volume of the documentation.
Yes. Now, before we go on to paragraph 4, this is the apology in regard to, you were saying earlier that after the first meeting, at the first meeting you had apologized for Commissioner Celebi's absence, and this is now recorded in this meeting.
That is in the report, yes.
In your report. Sorry.
That's correct.
Right. But I just want to get back to paragraph 3, where you say in the second line, it was said at the meeting. Are you talking about the previous meeting of the TRC committee?
That's correct. Yes.
So that's the meeting you are referring to.
That's correct.
All right. Now, let's go on with regard to, is there anything else in your minutes that you'd like to bring to your report that you'd like to bring to the attention of the commissioners?
Chairperson, I can just point out that in respect of each one of these cases where the ANC leadership was involved, we referenced the decision that has already been taken by the NPA regarding the prosecution of those ANC 37 members.
Is that also referred to in Advocate Ackerman's recommendation?
That's right. Of course, Advocate Ackerman's recommendation did not contain the decision that was made in 2000.
By the PCLU or by the NDPP then?
That's correct.
Advocate in Nuka?
That's correct.
Okay. Now, let's go back to PCJ 6, and it is then said that Brian suggested that Advocate Ackerman should proceed in the identified matters reflected in the PCLU's first report. What was that a reference to?
That was a reference to the cases that has been identified to be followed up.
These are the 22 cases
That
that
has been
need to be
identified.
prosecuted.
That's correct, yes.
And then it says during his presentation. Whose presentation is that?
I take it that it is Advocate Ackerman's presentation.
And what was I'm trying to understand. We were not there, and I'm
Yeah.
trying to ask you to explain to the commissioners what is meant by that. In other words,
Yeah.
what happened at that meeting.
Yeah, during his presentation, several recommendations were made, except for a few matters which were held in abeyance pending further information. I must mention, however, that for purposes of these minutes, I deem it fit not to give such detailed recommendations as a full progress report is still be compiled on all these matters.
Now that comment is from whom, or would appear to be from whom?
It appeared to be from Advocate Ackerman. Or it might even be the person who kept the minutes in terms of what must be minute.
Yes. Is
Yeah.
it not Advocate Mhaga?
Excuse, Jay.
Is that comment not from the person who prepared the minutes? That's Advocate Mhaga.
That is correct. I think
Yeah.
you're correct, Chair. Thank you.
And then in the last paragraph on that page, what is said there?
It is, however, worth mentioning that when Advocate Ackerman informed the meeting that the decision to prosecute has already been made by the NDPP on the Reverend Chikane case, Josias, that is Major General Kalakala, indicated that recommendations of the task team are necessary because the National Commissioner is of the view that Reverend Chikane is not interested in prosecution of the matter. He suggested that contact has to be made with Reverend Chikane to ascertain his attitude.
Yes, and then go on.
According to Advocate Ackerman, the complainant, Reverend, indicated that he leaves the matter in the hands of the NPA. It was then decided that the latter's attitude be ascertained and the matter was therefore closed, pending a feedback on his attitude.
The Chikane matter appears to have been discussed.
Just before you, there is something in handwritten. What is it and whose handwriting is it?
Commissioner, that is my handwriting, and I wrote there, Ackerman also informed that the NPA discussed the matter with Reverend Chikane.
Okay, thank you.
So I think the decision then is that he should be again be approached.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Soni.
Thank you, Commissioner. Now, the Chikane matter, it's a pity it's called the Chikane matter because he was a victim.
That's correct.
I mean, it should actually be either the Van der Merwe matter because he was the one who was prosecuted, or the Otto matter, he was the one who was first charged.
Correct.
But this matter comes up at the meeting quite often.
That's correct.
Okay. Now, there is then a next meeting of the task team, and this takes place on the 16th of November.
That is correct. On page 1750, PCJ 9.
Right. Now, who attended this meeting?
This meeting was attended by Dr. Ramahite, Advocate Ackerman, Advocate Chris McAdam, myself, Yvonne Mabule, Marlene Rasiswi, Nhlantlang Giri, and Mtunzi Mahaga.
Okay. Now, there seem to have been certain formal matters that were discussed. I'd like you to, though, go to paragraph 4, beginning with Advocate Ackerman raised a concern.
Okay. Chair, Advocate Ackerman raised a concern over the impression created by the revised audit report from SABC that he had indicated his intentions of exploring the possibility of prosecuting the President and 37 ANC leaders. He contended that it was SABC through Britz who had persuaded in vain the PCLU to prosecute the President, as there was enough evidence on the case. He said that SABC was the driving force behind such prosecution, and Advocate McAdam produced a letter he wrote to Britz, Superintendent Britz, in which he indicated that no sufficient evidence exists to institute such prosecution. He asked Commissioner Jacobs if he agrees with the contention.
Yes. Now, the next paragraph records Dr. Ramaite's approach to Ackerman, Advocate Ackerman's raising this. And what does Dr. Ramaite say?
Dr. Ramaite inquired from Advocate Ackerman on the relevance of the complaint, but also said he understood his frustration. He, however, called upon any agency intending to have an input on the matter to come forward with such.
Now, let's just get back. Oh, sorry. And then if you just go to the next one, it answers the question that I wanted to ask.
Advocate Ackerman wanted to know from Commissioner Jacobs who compiled the report and why was it necessary to include cases that had been finalized and request inquests on such matters.
Right. Now, what was your response to that?
I indicated that I compiled the report and requested guidance from the meeting and how to deal with outstanding inquests. He said, that is myself, said that we had 6 inquests, some had been finalized and others not at all, and that all were TRC matters.
Okay, and then Advocate...
McAdam clarified the position relating to the case against the President and the 37 ANC leaders.
And did he, when he clarified, what was he doing?
He was pointing out again the decision that was made. And as I've said, that decision has been reflected in all the matters that we have raised in terms of inquests as well.
Now, Ackerman, Advocate Ackerman then
indicated that he was really not happy with the SABC report, and Dr. Ramaite asked if a reconciled report of SABC and PCLU had been compiled to consolidate all TRC cases for investigation.
Before you go on with that, it's quite clear that your report had irked Advocate Ackerman.
Correct.
What is your response to his being unhappy about the contents of your report?
Chair, I think the fact is that this matter has actually been addressed in our report. It is made very clear that we understand the position that that decision had been made.
So let's not talk about that decision. We are dealing with a sensitive matter. What decision is that?
It's a decision about the ANC 37 that was taken in 2004 by the NDPP, not to prosecute them.
And you say that you had included it in your report.
That's correct.
And so what is your response now in regard to Advocate Ackerman's complaint?
Well, I think that I think there are two things. The one is the complaint about the decision that's reflected there, and otherwise also maybe the Britz's involvement in it. But regarding Britz, I can just say that we didn't make use of his services or get him as a result of the objection made by Advocate Ackerman.
As regards Britz, as I understood what you said previously, the idea was not to get him involved in investigations, but just to compile that list.
That is correct, Chair, because Louis Bester was placed in custody of these documents, but he didn't have first-hand knowledge about the investigations and things with which Britz had been busy for a very long time.
And Britz had been busy with whom?
He first worked with Advocate Fick, and later with Advocate Ackerman as well.
Okay. So the reason, well, what was your reason for then approaching Britz?
My reason was that there's a lot of dockets, there's a lot of these documents, and there needed to be some explanation because If you look at the bundle of decisions that we have already referred to, the A1 to A73, you will see that there are cases which sort of overlap, and you know, you need someone to explain some of the matters in the document.
And that's what you wanted.
That's correct.
That's the purpose Britz would serve, according to you.
That's correct. Yeah.
And did you explain that at the meeting?
Well, as I've said there, that I didn't want to have him appointed as an investigator, but only to assist us in dealing with the matters.
All right. Let's get back to page 1751. This is still the meeting of the 11th or the 16th of November, where at the top of page 1751, Dr. Ramaite asks about the reconciled report. What was going to be contained in that report?
It seems to be that it was a report that we agree with between the two parts, between the NPA and the SABC.
But what was going to be contained in it?
The list of cases that need to be addressed.
So, but it was not in regard to closed cases or
No.
cases that had already been disposed of.
Now, because it said here for investigation.
So these are the 22 and any other cases
That is
that had been referred to in Advocate Ackerman's first report.
That is correct.
And then what agreement was reached in regard to that revised report?
We agreed that there will be a meeting between myself and Advocate Maga, which meeting took place on the 22nd of November,
Right.
2006.
Okay. Now, was a report produced?
Yes, there was not in the form of a report, but in terms of a list of cases that Advocate Maga brought to me and that we discussed.
Okay. So that issue was addressed, and that list is included somewhere in the annexures.
Yes, Chair, I've written a report to General De Beer, who was the head of Detective Service, in charge of detectives countrywide, and in that...
We'll come to that.
Okay.
I just want to, so in regard to that issue that was raised, a list was provided, was compiled by yourself and Mr. Mahar.
That is correct, Chair.
Right. Now, Dr. Ramaite is obviously concerned and set a time frame for this in the next paragraph.
Yeah.
If you look at the third paragraph on page 1751. All right.
Dr. Ramete asked the task team to agree on the time frame for final recommendations, as we only had interim recommendations pertaining to the case, to some cases.
Right. And then a concern was raised about security matters. What was that?
That was Yvonne Mabule, she was from NIA, raised a concern on identifying matters to utilize NIA on security aspects, but agreed that on completion of investigations and receipt of representations from perpetrators, such could be dealt with depending on the circumstances of the cases.
And then in response, it seems Advocate Ackerman said something. What did he
Advocate
say?
Ackerman suggested that NIA provides the PCLU with any information they might have on these cases from a security point of view.
Yes.
And then Mtunzi was requested to compile...
Who's Mtunzi?
Mr. Mtunzi Mahaga from the PCLU, who was the drafter of the minutes, was requested to compile a draft progress report on the task team to be submitted to the NDPP and other principals.
Yes.
Advocate McAdam was then excused. Yeah. And I think, Chair, what was important as well is that the paragraph that says that it was agreed that the task team has indeed made progress, as there were already cases identified for investigations and interim recommendations made on some cases.
Okay. And when you say it was agreed, was that the general consensus at the meeting?
Consensus, yes, Chair.
Now, can we then deal with the next meeting? And that is the meeting that is held on the 4th of December 2006. Although the minutes are reflected in PCJ 10, am I correct?
That's correct, Chair, on page 1752.
All right. Now, it says here that the meeting was held on the 4th of December 2007, and it's corrected in hand to reflect 2006.
Yes, Chair, I made that correction because it was clearly wrong.
Okay, but it was held in 2006.
That is correct, Chair. 2006.
Yes. And who was present at this meeting?
Dr. Ramete, Advocate Ackerman, Jacobs, Josias Lakalakala, Irene Freeman, standing in for Mr. Ngiri of the DSO, Marilyn Rasiswi, Mtunzi Maga, and then there's some apologies that have been noted.
Now, in regard to this meeting, can you tell the commissioners what matters you regard as having been significant?
I think what's marked as paragraph 4.5, Commissioner Jacobs informed members that he has sent a letter to Commissioner De Beer and that the list of all investigators will be ready soon.
So, sorry, now that list is the list you were talking about a little while ago, where Dr. Ramaite had said that there must be a list of cases.
That's correct, and those were the list of cases that I received and that we discussed between myself and Mr. Maga.
Okay, right, okay. And that list we will deal with when you deal with the matter or the document you sent to Commissioner De Beer.
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay. Then, what
Yeah,
did-
Advocate Chris McAdam indicated that we need to adopt a wait-and-see approach, as all perpetrators will probably make representations in anticipation of prosecution upon completion of the investigations.
Now, what was understood by that, this wait-and-see approach?
Chairperson, I think there's two consultations that could take place with the victims, but it seemed to me that from the NPA side they also foreseen that they will also have to look at representations made by the perpetrators. Which of course, I think if one look at the Chikane matter, there was also representations, I think, that was made by General Van der Merwe and Vlok and so on. So sometimes there are some representations that need to be addressed.
Now, those representations would have been made in terms of the new policy.
That's correct.
Right. Can we then go to the next meeting, and that's the 5th meeting? When does that take place, Commissioner?
The fifth meeting was on the 29th of January 2007, page 1753, PCJ 11.
Okay. And who was present at this meeting?
Present were Advocate Ackerman, Mtunzi Maga, Mhlandla Ngidi, Jacobs, Brian Kopedi, Yvonne Mabule, Marilyn Rasiswi, and Josias Lukalakala.
Now, one of the matters that arose in the previous meeting was Reverend Chikane's attitude towards the prosecution of the perpetrators.
That's correct.
And now, he addresses that, or what he says is addressed at paragraph 3 of the minutes, can you reflect, okay, can you place that on record?
Commissioner Jacobs indicated that he was made to
No,
from the start.
paragraph 3.
Advocate Ackerman requested members for the inputs with a view to finalize the draft report to be submitted to the National Director. Commissioner Jacobs indicated that he was made to understand that Reverend Chikane was not interested in the prosecution of the accused in this case. Therefore, he needs to be consulted and the matter needs to be discussed with their principals before making recommendations.
Can I just ask you, you say here you were given to understand, you were made to understand that Reverend Chikane would, who communicated that to you?
The National Commissioner.
Okay. And then what happens, what's Advocate Ackerman's response?
Advocate Ackerman reminded the meeting that the National Director has made his decision on the matter. Yvonne Mabule from NIA concurred with Commissioner Jacobs and on the Reverend Chikane matter. Mr. Ngidi, however, had no objection to the National Director's decision on the Reverend Chikane matter.
And Mr. Ngidi is from where?
From the DSO chair.
And then you deal with the Highgate hotel attack matter. What do you say about it?
Chair, yeah, there was a request for the docket in this regard, and the docket was obtained. I read through the docket, and the docket was then handed over to Advocate Ntunzi Maga, which is in a separate document.
Well, let's deal with the minutes first.
Yeah.
What is said at the minutes, in the minutes?
Commissioner Jacobs informed the meeting that he has gone through the docket on the Highgate hotel attack and is of the view that no further investigations are necessary. It was agreed that PCLU would have to look at the docket.
Right. Now we'll come to that docket in a moment, but what is the relevance of the Highgate hotel matter in regard to TRC matters?
In the Highgate hotel attack, it was suspected that the attack was carried out by one of the movements, and then there were allegations.
When one of the movements, what's that?
Yeah, that is the PAC, APLA.
So you mean liberation movement?
That's right.
Yes.
So the allegations were that it was APLA which performed the attack, but there were also then information in the docket that alleges that it was security force members which actually performed the act. And this specific inquest was finalized last year in December. Was it only finalized?
Okay. Now, you were talking about your request to General De Beer to provide investigators.
That's good.
And you then report on that issue to the meeting. What was your report?
I informed the meeting that I'm waiting for feedback from provincial commissioners on the appointment of investigators. Some had responded and provided me with a list of the investigators, and he also requested a list of the SABC dockets in possession of the PCLU.
So that's you. You asked the PCLU to return the SABC dockets.
No, not to return, but to give us a list. Because if I can mention, for example, the Highgate matter, they asked for the docket and we obtained the docket. But it would also be good for us to have a copy of all the dockets which are in possession of the PCLU, if not to go into a search of dockets that might be with them.
I see. So this was just saying we too would like a copy of the documents we sent to you.
That is correct.
Okay. Now, can I then look at the next meeting of the TRC committee, and that's reflected at page 1753. PCJ 11. That the minutes of the meeting.
That's correct, Chair.
And when was that meeting held?
29 January 2007.
All right. Now, what of relevance happened at this meeting?
Chair, I think I've referred to all these matters already.
Oh, sorry,
Mr.
we've
Soni,
been through
you
that.
have
Sorry.
gone back.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm
I
sorry.
thought we must progress.
Yes, no, we must check, Commissioner. Now, you'll recall that earlier this morning you indicated that you had made your affidavit in response to allegations made in the Colata affidavits.
That is correct.
Can I ask you to please go back to paragraph 4 of your affidavit? And if I can ask you to look at page 1699, in which you set out paragraphs 229 to 232, and then on the following page 233 to 235 of Mr. Colata's affidavit.
That's correct.
I want to deal with all of those matters. Can I ask you to please look at the matters raised at paragraph 229, in particular the paragraph or the sentence that starts according to McAdam.
Yeah.
You see that?
McAdam noted in his affidavit that on
No, just read what is there. According to, what does Mr. Colata say?
That's the fourth line at
Thank you.
229.
According to McAdam, the NPA representatives on the ITT were Ackerman and Ramaite. McAdam noted in his affidavit that on occasions when he stood in for Ackerman at meetings of the ITT, that the task team was predominantly comprised of members of the intelligence community who were more intent on cross-examining me as to why matters should be investigated rather than addressing the issue of all outstanding cases.
Right. Can I ask you, you've been through the minutes and you've indicated on several occasions who was present. On how many occasions was Mr. McAdam present?
Mr. McAdam was present on 2 occasions. In the one set of minutes, his name is not mentioned under the persons who attended, but from the minutes itself you can see that he did attend the meeting.
Okay, which meetings did he attend?
He attended the minutes was filed as PCJ 9, that was on the 16th of November, and PCJ 10 on the 4th of December. And as I've said, we have read out who were present and who not. And so actually was only involved in 2 of those meetings. And if one would look at the representatives, you will see that in one meeting there was one member of the intelligence.
Which meeting was that?
The chair, I will have to check, but it was only. In one meeting, it was only one person from SABC that was mentioned, and the other one, it was only Yvonne Mabule who was present. So
this is from the intelligence services.
that's right.
All right. So what do you say about that allegation that Mr. Colata relies on?
The allegation is certainly inconsistent with the minutes, Chair, as it is clear that in none of the meetings, even the ones that were not attended by Advocate McAdam, was the majority or the predominantly comprised of members of the intelligence community.
Now, the other matter that I'd like to take you to in relation to Mr. Colata's affidavit is the matter at paragraph 234 of his affidavit, which is on page 1700. Now, could you read the allegation as set out in the Colata affidavit at page 234, paragraph?
According to Ackerman, on 6 December 2006, the PCLU received a letter from the head of SAP's legal support section, Major General Jacobs, representing the view of the National Commissioner, which bluntly stated that before any prosecutorial decision could be made in respect of the TRC cases, the task team must submit a final recommendation to a committee of Directors General in respect of each case, which in turn must advise the NDPP who to prosecute or not.
All right. Now, was there any communication between you and a member of the PCLU or the PCLU itself during December 2006?
That is correct, Chair. Regarding this allegation, I can refer to a series of emails attached as PCJ 12. Only one is relevant.
Well, let's just get to page PCL 12. Page 1754. Now, PCJ 12 and page 1754 and 1755 reflect that there were email exchanges between you and Mr. Mahaka.
That is correct.
That's correct. When does it start? If you look at page 1755.
Chairperson, it starts on the 6th of December 2006 at 11.
Well, if you look at page 1755, there's an email on the 1st of December.
Yeah, that's right, Chair. That was the draft progress report that was sent by Advocate Maga.
Right. And then the next one is on the 6th of December.
That is correct.
All right. And what time is that email?
That is at 11:33, Chair.
All right. Now, there is another email from you to Mr. Mahaka, which is at 4:44 p.m. That's in the middle of the page, is that correct?
That is correct.
Right. Does that have anything to do with what is reflected in the Colata affidavit?
Chair, no.
All right. So let's look at the one then at 11:33. Do you read that, please?
As I've said, I'm waiting to brief the National Commissioner on the draft report. I will revert to you once I've spoken to him. Provisionally, I wish to indicate that from SAP's side, we are still not happy with how the Chikani matter is reflected. There was a definite decision that the Reverend Chikani must be consulted again, that his wishes need to be reflected, that the issue be reported to our principals, and they must make a recommendation to the NDPP on the matter. Kindly rectify this in your report. Regarding the high-date docket, we will obtain the docket from the Director, McLaren, and let you know when it is available.
So that's what you say in regard to the prosecution in the Chikane matter.
That is correct.
And your email refers only to the Chikane matter.
That is correct.
Right. Now, if you look at the allegation in the Colata affidavit, it says that the allegation is that you talked about TRC cases in general. Now, can I ask you just in general to respond to the correctness or otherwise of those the allegation in 234?
No, the email correspondence referred specifically to the Chikane matter. Chair.
And in regard to the allegation that before any prosecutorial decision could be made, the task team must submit a final recommendation to a committee of directors. Is that contained in your email?
The specific wording is that the Reverend Chikane must be consulted again, that his wishes need to be reflected, that the issue to be reported to our principals, and that they must make a recommendation to the NDPP on the matter.
So, is that allegation in regard to yourself correct?
No, that it's not correct in the sense of that referring to all cases.
And it says before any prosecutorial decision is taken.
That's correct.
Then can I ask you to go to annexures PCJ 13, 14, and 15. Now,
That's page 1756.
as you please.
That's correct.
Now, these are letters that Commissioner Celebi wrote firstly to the NDPP, then to the Director General of Justice, and then to the Director General of the NIA.
That is correct.
And the letters are exactly, the wording of the letters are exactly the same.
Basically the same thing.
Yes. Now, I just want to reflect what the attitude of the National Commissioner of Police was in respect of prosecutions in relation to TRC cases. So can I ask you to read the contents of paragraph PC 13 into the record? You can start off by saying whom the letter is from and to whom it is addressed.
And start
Chairperson?
with the date. It's at 1757.
Yes.
Commissioner, the date of the letter was on the 6th of February 2007, and it was a letter from the National Commissioner Celebi addressed to Advocate Pikoli, National Director of Public Prosecutions. And then the National Commissioner stating I've been briefed on the last meeting of
What's the heading to the letter?
outstanding TRC cases. I've been briefed on the last meeting of the task team set up in terms of the Cabinet guidelines on outstanding Truth and Reconciliation Commission matters. It was brought to my attention that in S versus Otto, complainant Reverend F. Chikane, a decision on prosecution was taken without consultation with the respective departments. I've insisted that the complainant be consulted in terms of the guidelines on the basis that the Directors General will have an opportunity to provide input before a decision on prosecution is taken. I'm also under the impression that there is no common understanding on the process to be followed. My understanding was that the officials designated on the task team by the Directors General will provide recommendations to the Directors General, who will as a collective advise the National Prosecuting Authority as the decision maker on the process.
No, sorry, on prosecution.
Sorry, sir. In my view, a comprehensive report such as the one directed to the NPA, dated 24 November 2006, and revised on 29 November 2006, should be discussed by the Directors General. Although I do not insist on a meeting of the DGs after each meeting of our officials, I deem it necessary that the substantive reports and recommendations of the officials should be discussed by the Directors General before a decision is made. I'm of the opinion that the Directors General should meet as soon as possible to provide guidance on the procedures to be followed by the officials in the task team. I'm also of the opinion that the Chikane matter should be discussed, both in terms of the procedures followed and the way forward. You are requested to convene as soon as possible a meeting with the Directors General in order to discuss the above matters.
Now, do you know if the NDPP, and we know similar letters were sent to the DGs of NIA and Justice, do you know if the NDPP responded to this?
Yes, Chairperson, the NDPP responded on the same date as the date of this letter, and that is, a copy of that is on page 1762, PCJ 16.
Okay.
And
And
If I-
what is that?
the response is that I advise that
Sorry, to whom is that a letter?
that's a letter addressed to the National Commissioner, Selebi. Outstanding TRC cases is the topic. Dear Commissioner Selebi, I advise that it's clear that our understanding of the mandate of the task team, as well as the guidelines that Cabinet approved, are not the same. In the circumstances, this matter, as well as other issues that have emerged in the course of the NPA dealing with the TRC cases, are currently being taken up with the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development.
And do you know what happened in respect of those matters then?
Well, there was, after this, there was no further meeting called of the ITT. It actually, the meetings came to a standstill.
Okay. So, you might recall you referred to various lists and investigators. And that was in the meeting of the 4th of December, you recall that?
That's correct.
Now, in response to that, what steps did you take? As I understand it, you first wrote to General De Beer.
That is correct, Chair. I wrote an information note to Commissioner De Beer. Unfortunately, it's not dated and it's not signed. It is an electronic.
Let's just deal with where we find it first of all.
It is on page 1763, PCJ 17, Chair.
So it's PCJ 17 to
17,
your
that's-
affidavit.
That is correct, Chair.
Yes. What do you say in that?
The heading is request to make investigators available to National Prosecuting Authority, outstanding TRC cases. At the last meeting of the subcommittee appointed to deal with the outstanding TRC matters in accordance with Cabinet's approved guidelines, it was recommended that a number of cases need to be brought to finality in terms of investigations. The purpose of the investigation is to enable the relevant committee to make a recommendation regarding possible prosecution to the NDPP in accordance with the said guidelines. A discussion was held with Advocate Ntunzi Mahaga of the Priority Crimes Litigation Unit, who is also on the committee, in order to obtain guidance on where investigators are needed. And the relevant cases are, and then they are mentioned.
Can I just ask you now, you then list a number of cases in paragraph 4.
That's correct.
Where did you get that list?
That was the list that I got from Advocate Mahaga.
So this is the list that Dr. Ramaite had asked be compiled.
That is correct.
Now, can you just indicate what is it that is said in regard to the 8 cases that are referred to? You'll see it's 4.1 to 4.8.
Yes.
Now, what details were you giving to General De Beer?
Well, the case, there's only reference to the cases themselves, and then where investigators are needed. For example, the Craddock 4 case, the police official from Port Elizabeth, Fanny Els, be appointed, as he's already au fait of the cases.
Can we just hold on there? You referred in 4.1 and 4.2 to the PEPCO 3 and the Craddock 4
4
case.
cases.
And you say in both these cases.
From the Eastern Cape.
Right. So you asked for, now, where did that request come from? That
That was-
may be from the Eastern Cape.
It was also from the list that I received from Mr. Maga.
So you were communicating the PCLU's request to General De Beer, and he would then take up that request with the relevant persons.
That is correct, Chair.
And in respect of all 8 matters that were given to you. So, as I understand it then, when Dr. Ramaite says compile a list of matters to be taken forward, you and Mr. Mahaga compiled a list of 8 cases.
Yeah.
Those were the cases that were to be taken
Yeah.
forward. And then in paragraph 5, you indicate to General De Beer what you would want.
It is recommended that detectives in the respective areas be identified and that their contact particulars be given to Advocate Maga in order to make the necessary arrangements for the investigations to proceed.
Now, if you look at the next page, page 1765, this is not dated and it's not signed. Why is that?
This is from an electronic copy of the document. I don't have the original anymore.
But the question I want to ask then is, did you send the original?
Yes, I did.
And sign it?
Yeah, definitely, and it was also reported in the meeting of the, I think, the 4th of December
yes.
that I have done this.
Okay. Then let's look at PCJ 18, and it's a document dated the 6th of December 2006, and it comes from you, and it's addressed to the provincial commissioners in 5 different provinces.
That's correct, Chair.
Now, what was the purpose of this document?
Chairperson, although Commissioner De Beer was in charge of the detective service as such nationally, the specific investigators fall under the command of the provincial commissioners. So it would just be a courtesy to request those provincial commissioners to make investigators available.
So was he supposed to then send this letter under his signature to each of these provincial
That is correct.
commissioners? And you then set out the details as requested by the PCLU in this letter as well.
That's correct.
Do you know if Commissioner De Beer had sent this letter?
Yeah, this letter was definitely sent, Chair. It is also referenced in the last meeting, the 29 January meeting. I informed them that some of the provinces have already responded.
Right. Okay. Now, finally, you referred to an annexure PCJ 19, which appears at page 1768.
That's correct, Chair.
Now, this relates to the Highgate matter.
That is correct, Chair.
Now, what is the purpose of this letter?
The purpose of this letter is actually as evidence that the docket has indeed been handed over to the PCLU.
It's
So the contents of the docket is set out in the document, and we made space for the person who received the document to sign, to acknowledge receipt of the document.
the letter is
the
written by
doc-
yourself,
That is correct.
and it's addressed to Dr. Ramaite.
That is correct.
And you then say that the Highgate docket is being sent to the PCLU, and you set out what is contained in the docket.
Yes, Chair, you will see that the date on which it was signed was on the 29th of January 2007. It was the same date as the meeting that we had,
That you and Mr.
that the ITT had.
Oh, sorry.
On the 29th of
yes,
January.
yes. So you handed it to him at the meeting?
That is correct. Because the docket was also discussed in previous meetings.
Now, earlier you said that this, just two aspects about this. The investigations, as I understand it, had all been done.
Chair, according to the docket that I read, as is contained in this letter or referred to, the allegations that members of, or rogue members of the SAP had been involved, or security branch, was contained already in the docket. But of course, I can't say, it might be possible that other investigations should happen. And I think that is the reason why they also asked that the PCLU must look at the docket themselves as well.
All right. Was any feedback given to you about this docket?
No.
Now, to the best of your knowledge, this inquest was finalized when?
It was finalized, according to media reports, in December last year,
That's
2025.
2025.
Correct.
Now, in your affidavit at paragraph 64, in explaining how you conducted yourself, you point out that when you attended the meetings of the TRC committee or the interdepartmental task team, you were doing so in your capacity as a representative of the commission.
That is correct.
And is that what you want to place on record? That is the role you were required to play?
Yes, Chairperson, the role was that also to facilitate requests from the TRC committee or the ITT to the relevant person, which is General De Beer. And because I was not in command of any of the investigators or so any request made for investigators to be made available must go through General De Beer. So I was in no decision-making position there. And of course, I was also subject to instructions of the National Commissioner regarding the attendance of the meetings.
Yes. And did he give you any instructions that you can recall relating to the meetings that you attended?
Now, from time to time, we addressed the National Commissioner on these issues, and the issue that really came forward was the issue about the Chikane case that I got specific instructions on.
When the minutes of the meetings were given to you, would you share them with the National Commissioner?
No, we didn't. We didn't share every minute with the National Commissioner. I mean, many of those were just sort of building up to a position where investigators are needed and need to be appointed.
And regarding the need for investigators and the requests that were made for you, did you comply with all the requests that were made to you?
Yes, I did.
All right. Now, you might remember right at the outset, Dr. Jacobs, I indicated that there were three main matters that are dealt with in your affidavit. We've dealt with two of them now. Firstly, what happened at the TRC committee meetings, then your response to the complaint, the matters raised in the Colata affidavit.
That's correct.
And then the third one was the document that contained what was alleged to be a changed date. You recall that?
That is correct.
Now, one of the matters that we dealt with when we dealt with your report Remember where you dealt with the Messina matter?
That's correct.
You recall that? And I asked you at that time, well, where did you get that, all those reports from? And you said you'd received a bundle of documents which contained 73 reports or decisions or recommendations made in respect of those cases.
That is correct, Chair.
Commissioners, in your file, towards the end of the file, you'll find a bundle of documents that starts on the top right-hand side at A1, and the last document in that pile is A73. It is, and you might remember the evidence of Advocate Ackerman on the alleged forgery of the date. These are his recommendations to the some of them are addressed to Dr. Ramaite, and some of them are just classed as memorandum.
We're at a loss.
Is A1
So-
at 1785? At page 1785, or where are we? Because following that is not A1, then it's A4 and so forth. Where are we?
Oh,
I was assured that
is it, sorry to intervene, to interpose, Mr. Is it written special litigation unit?
that is the set of documents.
Are these marked A1 to A74?
So they're not marked. It's and we didn't want to interfere with the documents because you'll recall when Advocate Ackerman gave evidence, he said he marked each of these A1 to whatever.
Okay.
We've just put them in the same order as indicated by the numbers.
Yes.
So A1 to whatever
Yes.
it is.
Oh, that little A, well,
On the top
on
right
the
hand
top
side.
right hand side.
Now, I just want to introduce this document, Dr. Jacobs. Where did you get this document? I know you said it before, but just because we're dealing with it now,
Yeah.
where did you get it from, the set of documents?
I received a copy of that from Senior Superintendent Britz.
And as I understood it, you say you received it about or soon after the first meeting of the TRC committee.
That is correct, Chair.
And what was the reason for your acquiring possession of these documents?
Well, it facilitates the process in terms of to know what is on the table in terms of the dockets that are with the police and to take the matter further.
So if I could just look at this set of documents, each one is titled memorandum. Am I correct?
That is correct, Chair.
And each one at the end of it contains Advocate Ackerman's name and his signature.
That is correct.
And if you look from around A17 onwards, the documents are not addressed to Dr. Ramaite anymore. They just are described as memorandum.
That is correct.
So up to page, A16, they're all addressed to Dr. Ramaite.
Correct, Chair.
Now,
Chair, I don't wish to interrupt, but we're struggling to find these documents. We have at the end of the bundle documents beginning with A2. We don't have A1. We do need to follow this, this evidence. We have not been able to find it. I don't know if any of my colleagues have been able to find it. It doesn't seem as if our colleagues have it either.
Chairperson, may I just make this point, and I'm not saying that the complaint is invalid. This set of documents was obtained about a month ago, and it was put on the Commission's website. And to the best of my knowledge, certainly the Colata attorneys were informed about the existence of this bundle of documents, and in fact they wrote back asking where we had obtained the documents from.
Yes.
So I can say this with some confidence that the whole set was made available to them. Whether it is part of this bundle or not might be a different question.
Yes.
But may I ask, Chairperson, because I don't want there to be a dispute about it, it ought not to take long because it's a limited matter. Can I ask for a 5-minute stand down so I could just ask my learned friends what the position is in regard to this documents?
Yes. We'll stand down for 5 minutes.
I apologize for that.
Mr. Sonny?
Chairperson, it appears that the issue has been resolved.
Yes.
All the parties have access to the documents in question. Dr. Jacobs, I was just asking you about the documents, and as I said to you, that they are all titled memorandum,
Correct.
and they all signed at the end by by Advocate Ackerman. Now, I just want to say to you that it's already been raised in the Commission that Advocate Ackerman is of the view that, or alleges that, the date on a document that formed part of this bundle was changed, and it was not he who made the change. Now, are you aware that that was the allegation that was made?
I'm aware of that too.
How did you become aware of that?
On the 20th of 20 August 2007, Advocate Ackerman phoned me and he referred to a newspaper report in the Rapport newspaper.
That's on that Sunday.
On the Sunday, it appeared on the 19th, and he asked for a copy of the document that was involved. Now, if you look at the Rapport newspaper report, it talks about this landmine explosions and things. So I had the copies of the documents that I received from Senior Superintendent Britz, and I sourced the document that he was looking for.
Just give me 1 second, please. The report article, is it annexed to your documents?
It is annexed, Chair. It's also annexed elsewhere in the Commission's documents, but it's on page 1769, PCJ 20.
Now, what does that article say?
The article basically say that the police has done nothing about obtaining evidence for the possible prosecution of the 37 leaders of the ANC to whom amnesty has not been granted. And then it says that, if I can skip 2 paragraphs there, the dockets relating to these cases were previously removed from the from safekeeping in the offices of the Director of Public Prosecutions in Pretoria, where Advocate Paul Fick, head of the prosecution team of the Boeremag members, was also head of a team that had to further investigate cases with the view of possible prosecution. And the National Prosecuting Authority, years back, took the matters away from Fick, and Fick didn't react on the newspaper report. Report then established that the dockets were given to a team by the National Prosecuting Authority, but nothing much has happened to the investigations. After this, Advocate Ackerman was appointed in June 2003 as head of the unit which will investigate inter alia crimes against the state. Ackerman was also the prosecutor in the Vlok van der Merwe trial. Ex-Commissioner Johan van der Merwe on Friday said there's more than enough evidence that the ANC leadership were involved with the landmine explosion in '95, where a number of members of the Van Eck and the Necker family died. In June 2004, Sipho Ngwema said that not one of the ANC leaders under President Mbeki, Mr. Jacob Zuma, Commissioner Salebi, Mr. Linda Mati, previous Commissioner of Correctional Service, and Minister Esopart can be prosecuted because there's not enough evidence to put together a charge sheet. Nguema also said that the National Prosecuting Authority do not know who did what and who gave the instructions. Then it's quoted, if the National Prosecuting Authority did this with the evidence at its disposal, it is just as well that ex-Minister President P.W. Botha or ex-President F.W. de Klerk must stand trial as a result of occurrences in the apartheid years for whom nobody else has taken responsibility. Mr. Van Eck had indicated that he's ready to lay a charge against the ANC leaders who did not receive amnesty for this attack which caused the death of basically the half of his family. The political problems about the prosecutions from the past will be extended if the National Prosecuting Authority will institute proceedings against General Basie Smith, a previous head of the police's detective and security branches. One of the clauses in Vlok and Van der Merwe's plea agreement forced them to testify in a possible trial of Smith, against Smith. Report then understood that Ackerman previously gave a written instruction that the police must get more evidence in the investigations into the ANC leaders with the view of a possible prosecution. But the past week the police did not want to say if this has been done or what how far it has been processed. That's basically the contents.
Yes. Now, can I ask you, when Mr. Ackerman talked to you, did he refer to a particular document?
No, and as a matter of fact, in the newspaper report itself, it is just that statement that is made of what Ackerman would have said.
Yes.
And there's no reference to a specific document or a specific date on a document.
No, I'm saying Mr. Ackerman found you.
Yeah.
He wanted a document from you. Did he tell you what document he wanted?
I can't remember whether he said A15 or whatever, but it was clear to me it was this document that he was looking for.
All right. And then did you send it to him?
Yes, I took the copy that I have, yes, and I sent it by fax to him. And
Sorry, before you go on, where did you get that document from?
it was in the bundle that
In that bundle?
yeah that I received from
Okay, the same bundle that we have.
That is correct.
Which document in the bundle is the document that you sent to him?
It is A15, Chair.
It is about a quarter of the way into that bundle, Commissioner. If you look at A15 on the top of the document,
That is correct.
that's the one you sent to him.
That is
And
correct.
you understood that that is the document that he wanted.
That is correct.
You sent it to him.
Yes.
Did he come back and say, but it's not the document?
No, he phoned me and he said that the date is not correct on the document.
Okay. So let's look at the document A15. How many pages is this?
Chairperson, the copy that I have only has 2 pages. It is the first and the last page. You will see the last page is numbered 3 and the other page is number 1. So it's not, there's not a page 2 in the document.
That you sent to him.
That's correct.
Now I'm asking you in the bundle that you now have.
Yeah. All 3 pages are in the bundle.
Yes.
I can just speculate that possibly when with the faxing of the document that it was on both pages, and I don't know what happened.
But you faxed the document to him.
That's correct.
Now he says he received 2 pages. That's and
Well, I think if I remembered his evidence, he said that he only now found out that there were only 2 pages.
yes.
But at that stage, there was no complaint that the document is incomplete.
Well, I'm more interested in the original document now.
The original document has 3 pages, yes.
Okay. So is that reflected as A15, page 1, 2, and 3?
That's correct, yeah.
Right. Now, you will see that this document on the top has a date. What is the date of that document?
It is 26 June 2006.
Right. And what is the document headed?
The document is headed the start teen Telezi Zefania Mkube,
No. Right at the top.
Special Litigation Unit,
Yeah.
Speciale Litigasie Unit,
And under that is what?
is the date 26 June
And
2006.
under that?
Memorandum.
Yes. And to whom is it addressed?
It is addressed to Dr. Silas Ramaite from Advocate Ackerman.
Right. And it's the state of Nube. I mean, the case of state versus Nube.
That's correct, yeah.
Now, you'll recall that when you did your report, this is the very case that you referred to,
That is correct.
your audit report.
That's correct.
You remember that. Now, can I ask you to look at page 3 of this document? And you recall what, when you gave evidence on the in respect of your audit report, you had translated what had been contained in the original document.
That is correct.
Is this the same document that we are talking
It's
about?
the same document, yes.
Right. Now, this document, in addition to having the date at the top, on the top of the document, has a handwritten date. And what is the date written there?
The handwritten date is 26/6/2006.
Okay. Now, this reflects, as you said previously, that no decision yet had been taken on the leaders, though the foot soldiers had been granted amnesty.
That's correct, yes.
Right. And then you pointed out in your audit report that the PCLU had said that there would not be the prosecution of the ANC leadership.
That's correct.
Right. Now that is not reflected in this document.
That is correct because, yeah.
Right. Now, after Advocate Ackerman raised this issue of this document, what happened next?
He sent a letter asking for the original document to be sent to him.
And was it sent to him?
No, it was not sent. I reported to General De Beer, and you will see on page 1771, PCJ 21, on the fax cover, I wrote, Commissioner De Beer, I just received this from Anton. The files is in Louis Bester's care.
Yes.
And the letter is then attached also that I received from Advocate Ackerman demanding the original document.
Let's look at your affidavit, though. I don't need the details on this. I just want to know what happened next. You deal in paragraph 65 with the fact that Mr. Ackerman phoned you.
Yeah.
Then you deal with the fact that you communicated with Mr. Bester.
Yeah.
All right. And then in paragraph 67, you say you told Commissioner De Beer about this.
Yes.
Now, what's the long, what's the short version of what happened next?
What happened next is that the next day, the 21st, there was a media release by the NPA to say that the document that the police have faxed to Advocate Ackerman is regarded as a forgery, and it will be investigated. So then we, myself, General De Beer, went to brief the National Commissioner about the issue, and Commissioner De Beer then phoned Louis Bester, asked him to bring the file with these documents, all the documents, to his office. And then General De Beer instructed Senior Superintendent Bester to take an affidavit from Britz, because Britz was the person who received these documents from Advocate Ackerman and filed it. So
Is Britz's affidavit in
It
an
is.
annexure to your document?
it is also an annexure to the document, Chair.
Where is it?
Let me just see. It is on page 1784, PCJ 25.
What, in essence, what does it say? You don't have to read the whole thing.
It basically states that Advocate Ackerman read through the respective dockets, and he made his decision, and he had the decisions typed in his office, and then Britz received these documents to file
From Mr. Ackerman.
Advocate Ackerman, yes.
And they were filed as part of this bundle.
That's
Yeah.
correct.
Okay. Now, after you made these inquiries, were there any forensic analyses done?
Yes, Senior Superintendent Louis Bester took the documents, on instruction of General De Beer, to the Forensic Science Laboratory, and it was analyzed, and a report was made on it, and that report is on page 1777, PCJ 24.
All right. And then if you look at page 1779 at paragraph 5, the summary of the report is given.
That's correct.
What does that summary say?
Chair, if I can just correct myself, the PCJ 24 is on the first page is actually the request for the investigation
Yes.
to be done. Then, of course, from the next page is the affidavit, and paragraph 5.1 state that the signature is not a forgery. There are no signs of any tampering or amendments. The ink that was used to sign the signature and the date was also used for the correction at the word leierskap.
What? In addition to this analysis, sorry, by whom was the analysis done?
It was done by De Tooy. I think it's Superintendent De Tooy, Martinez Tienes De Tooy, from the forensic lab, a senior superintendent working there.
When you say the forensic lab, is this the
That's the-
SAPS?
Yeah, it's the Forensic Services Laboratory of the South African Police Service, yes.
Was this communicated to Mr. Ackerman?
No, that was not communicated at the time.
At any time?
Not to him. At the later stage, Commissioner De Beer informed Mr. Leonard McCarthy of the DSO about it.
Okay. And then, in addition to the report relating to, by Mr. Du Toit, was there another analysis done?
Yes, Commissioner De Beer also asked Superintendent Bester to submit the documents to independent forensic investigator.
Who was that?
That is Mr. Hutton, ex-Brigadier Hutton. He worked for many years at the Forensic Science Laboratory, very well experienced, and he then also examined it, but in this case, that whole file with all the signatures were given to him.
These are the 77 documents
Actually,
in that file.
72 documents.
Sorry, 73 documents.
Yeah, 72 documents plus then the disputed one, which adds up to 73 years.
All right. And he compiled a report, and that appears at page 1786. Sorry, the
1789.
report 1788. If you look at page 178, that's his affidavit in
That's
this
correct.
regard. Yes. And what does he conclude? His conclusion is at page 1789. Can you briefly set out what he says in his conclusion?
It's paragraph 4.1, Chair. The signature on the disputed document was signed by the person who signed the specimen signatures. A and
Oh,
A.
we don't need to go into the, go to 4.2.
4.2, paper. No difference could be detected in the 3 sheets of paper by non-destructive examination methods used, microscopy, ultraviolet and infrared. The 3 pages was stapled a total of 6 times, and the staple holes correspond on all 3 pages with no additional or missing holes, which indicates that no pages were substituted or inserted. The note stapled to page 3 was stapled 2 times, and the staple holes correspond. 2 punch holes occurs on each page, which corresponds on the 3 pages. On page 4, paragraph 4 on page 3, a correction was made where the letter R was added in pen. No other amendments, additions, erasures, or other form of tampering exists on the document. The date reads 26 June 2006, with no alteration to the last figure 6. No differences could be found between the inks on the signature, the date and the correction in paragraph 4 on page 3 by means of infrared and ultraviolet examination. The note attached to page 3 did not form part of the original document, as the note is printed by means of an inkjet printer, while the document was printed on a laser printer.
So it would appear that both of these reports say that there was no forgery on the document.
That's correct.
Okay. Now, just was there any further issue relating to this allegation of forgery?
It was just the reporting that we did later on to Mr. Leonard McCarthy, because the investigation was a DSO investigation, and Mr. McCarthy was the head of the DSO.
So when you say it was a DSO investigation, what do you mean?
The DSO did an investigation. I think it was mentioned in previous evidence as well that they referred to it as Project Gnome.
Yes.
And Louis Bester was asked to produce the original document. General De Beer indicated that he will deal with the matter himself. And then these forensic analysis was done, and at the later stage, General De Beer reported back to Advocate McCarthy on the matter.
So did Advocate McCarthy accept the correctness of these reports?
I cannot really say. I assume he didn't query it, and he didn't ask for another investigation to be done or another analysis to be done.
And if that had been done, would it have been done through the SAPS?
Well, if it was another one, I think it would have been done by someone that the DSO might have preferred to nominate.
You're not aware of any investigation which suggested that the two reports were incorrect?
No.
Now, just in relation to this pile, if I may just, one of the issues that Mr. Ackerman raised when he gave evidence was that he had never written to Dr. Ramaite in English. In what language are all these reports?
I think you mean in Afrikaans.
In Afrikaans, sorry.
No, these notes are all in Afrikaans. All 73.
All of the ones
Yeah.
here. In regard to the document at A15, the one we were dealing with, the one that was sent for analysis, you will see there that that is a document that has a date handwritten.
That's correct.
You've looked at all the other documents. Is there any other document in which the date is handwritten?
Chair, there's another, if I'm not incorrect, 19 documents which also bear the date of 26 June 2006, but in all of them...
No. Please listen to my question. Is there any other document in this pile where the date is handwritten?
No, Chair. Only that one.
Right. Now, the document on this, the impugned document, or the suspected document, whatever one wants to call it, is dated 26 June. And I ask you, after that document, if you went one document thereafter, you'll see that's also A15. You see that?
That's correct.
And what's the date on that document?
The date is also 26 June 2006.
If you went to document thereafter, that's A16, what is the date on that document?
26 June 2006.
And then the next one is also 26 June 2016.
That is correct.
Now, all the documents from the one at the top, that's A1 to A16, the second A16, what is the date on those documents?
Prior to those? Or after that?
No, before.
Before.
Did you not look at them?
No, I just need to check, Chairperson.
Okay, I'm just going to suggest to you, in an effort to save time, that all these documents are dated the 26th of June.
Yeah, that's correct. I've seen
You've
from the
checked
first
that,
one. Yeah.
right? Okay. Then, if you look at A17, you'll see the date on that document is the 11th of July,
That's correct. Yeah.
and then several documents thereafter bear that date. But if you went lower down in that pile, you'll see there's a set of documents that's dated the 17th of July, and then documents dated August and September,
2003, yes.
all 2003. There are no other documents except the first 16 documents here that have the 2006 dates. Am I correct?
That's correct.
Now, can I get back to your affidavit, Mr. Jacobs, because I want to finalize this affidavit and then we go into your supplementary affidavit. Commissioner, the supplementary affidavit is likely to take about 10 minutes. Is it okay if we continued, or do you want to break for lunch?
should we continue?
If you say so, yes.
We'll continue.
As you please. Now, in paragraph 74, in relation to the allegations of playing a role in the stopping of TRC investigations, obviously that's where the police would be involved. You set out your position in regard to that allegation against yourself and the police. What do you say there?
Well, it was never within my capability to instruct anybody to stop any investigation and or prosecution of any cases related to the TRC or otherwise. I also never had the intention whatsoever to deny any person their rights to access justice as portrayed by the Colata group.
Now, you indicated much earlier that you had also filed a supplementary affidavit. And that affidavit, as you indicated, is dated the 25th of March 2026.
That's correct.
And you've confirmed already what the contents are correct to the best of your knowledge.
That's correct.
Now, how is it that this affidavit came about?
The Commission sent a letter with a list of additional documents and evidence that's required. And these were issues that I felt I could assist with. So there's reference in that letter from the Commission of a letter that was sent by Acting National Commissioner Williams to Mr. Ramaite. The date referred to by the in the document we received from the Commission refers to a letter that was sent in 2009. However, I was able to locate one letter which is dated a year before that, 2008. So I'm not aware of a letter that was 2009, but I could locate this one of 2008.
You were able to?
That's right.
Yes. All right. And is that annexed to your affidavit?
That's correct, Chair.
It's 1808.
It's as SA1-1808. It's a letter to Advocate Mshe from Acting National Commissioner Williams.
What's the date of the letter? If you look at the next page, you'll see it.
The date of the letter is 2008-0307, 7 March 2008.
Oh, wow. What does it say?
The topic is Interdepartmental Task Team dealing with post-TRC matters. The representative of the SABC received an invitation for a meeting of the above-mentioned task team scheduled for 13 March 2008. As you know, there had been correspondence...
Sorry, just before you go on. So you'll recall that when we finished with the last the minutes of the last meeting that we were talking about, that was in January 2007.
That's correct.
Now this meeting is scheduled for the 13th of March 2008, more than a year later.
That's correct, Chair.
And in between, the task team had not met, according to this letter at any rate.
That's correct.
All right, yes.
The representative of the SABC received an invitation for a meeting task team for 13 March 2008. As you know, there had been correspondence between the National Commissioner and the National Director of Public Prosecutions about the interpretation of the role and functions of the task team vis-à-vis the Director General of the departments represented in it. Advocate Pekoli agreed that there is a difference of opinion on the matter and undertook to take the matter up with the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development. A copy of the letter is attached. For your convenience, to date, no feedback has been received and the matter remains unresolved. Until such time that the matter has been cleared up, I am of the view that the committee cannot function meaningfully. Please inform me as soon as possible of how you see the role of the Directors General of the departments involved in the task team. And until such time that the matter is resolved, I have instructed the representatives of the South African Police Service not to attend meetings of the task team.
Now, that is the instruction given to you. Can I ask, to the best of your knowledge, I mean, and I know you're not now part of the task team because it seems the SAPS has withdrawn from the task team, but I take it you would still communicate with different role players. To your knowledge, did any further meetings take place?
I'm not aware of any further meetings.
All right. Then at paragraph 10 of your affidavit, you refer to an information note that was prepared, and that is SA2 to your supplementary affidavit.
That's right.
Who prepared that note?
I prepared that information note. It's,
And in what circumstances?
It's page number is 1811 SA2. It's an information note to the Minister of Safety and Security, and it followed renewed interaction between Advocate McAdam and the NPA about going further with these matters, and also to inform the Minister and all involved of the outcome of the case that was about the constitutionality of the prosecution guidelines. And that case was, the judgment was given in 2008, early in 2008.
2008?
Yeah.
Yes.
But then Advocate McAdam approached us, and you will see in the information note, I also refer to the fact that Mr. Pete Richer from NIA indicated that they will assist with these matters. And there was, I specifically pointed out what the court found, and the court found that, observed that crimes are not investigated by victims. It's the responsibility of the police and prosecution authority to ensure that cases are properly investigated and prosecuted. Victims of crimes rely only on these institutions for investigation and prosecution. The essence of the complaints is that the policy amendments allow the first respondent not to prosecute, even in circumstances where there is a prima facie case. So that was basically the gist, and there was no indication in the information note that the SAPS would not assist with this. It was just to inform the Minister of the developments and the approach from the NPA side. And the information note was prepared by myself, and for signature of Divisional Commissioner Lala, who at that stage was the Divisional Commissioner for Detective Service, and then also for the acting National Commissioner.
Yes. Now, in regard to the task team, at paragraph 3, you say that during the Ginwala Commission, a stalemate had been reached.
That's correct.
And as I understand it, it's never been sort of unraveled, the stalemate.
That is correct, and I think it's also supported by the letter from Commissioner Williams to Advocate Miche that we have dealt with just now.
Okay. Now, you retired in 2017.
That's correct, Chair.
Between the time of these letters and your retirement, do you play any further role in TRC matters?
No, Chair.
Chairperson, that is the evidence we wish to lead through Dr. Jacobs.
Thank you, Mr. Soni, for that evidence. Ms. Moroka, any clarificatory questions?
No clarification questions, Chair.
Thank you. Mr. Kwala, any clarificatory questions?
No, Chairperson, we do not have clarification questions.
Mr. Masugu, any clarificatory questions?
Chair and Commissioners, no clarification questions.
Yes, Ms. Ranto?
Thank you, Commissioners. No clarification from our side.
Mr. Vani?
Chair, we will make application to cross-examine Dr. Jacobs.
Yes. Thank you.
Chair, I'm sorry.
Some of us are old, but instructed by juniors what to ask and what not to ask.
Yes.
I've been asked to ask
Not
one question.
instructed, advised.
I beg your pardon?
Not instructed by your junior, advised.
Sometimes you don't agree with it, Commissioner, then it becomes...
Yes. What are your instructions, Ms. Moroka?
Thank you, Chair. The instruction is, can I find out from you, Doctor, what was your understanding, notwithstanding the difficulties and the differences that may have existed between the parties, what was your understanding of the role of the ITT or the task team vis-a-vis the role of the prosecutors as in the NPA?
Yeah. Chair, firstly, regarding the NPA, I think the view has been expressed everywhere that the National Director of Public Prosecutions is the final decision maker on prosecutions. The role of the people involved there, myself included, was to facilitate the process of investigations. And that is why Major General Colata from Crime Intelligence was also involved, and from my side, liaison with the Detective Service. So once matters are being identified for further investigation and or prosecution, that interaction had to take place. But I think what Mr. Piccoli has well said, that is that he can be advised by the committee. Of course, I don't think that means that they can overtake his powers as the national director. But in short, that is how I see the role. And when it comes to the NIA, of course, there might be some security concerns where, like Advocate Ackerman invited them to raise some of those issues if it's necessary.
So the terms of reference indicate that it's an inquiry in respect of alleged interference by whosoever. Are you of the view, or do you understand the role of the task team to have been interference with the powers of the NPA and the NDPP?
Not at all. And if I can add, if you look at the issue of the dispute between the National Commissioner and Advocate Piccoli, I did point out in my affidavit as well that there were some previous meetings before I started being involved with this process. It is in paragraphs 221 to 228 of the Colata of the documents from the Commission side. And I did not attend any one of those. So there might be, from the DG side, there might have been expectations on how they would proceed with this process that I might not have been aware of.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Moroka. Ms. DeForce she was here. I see she's no longer here. Mr. Sonny? Or Ms. Rokotso?
Thank you, Chair, but my SC has already indicated.
Oh,
that.
thank you, thank you. Mr. Masugu. Mr. Sonny?
There is no re-examination.
Thank you. Dr. Jacobs, we wish to thank you for having availed yourself to give evidence before this commission. You may be recalled to be cross-examined in respect of the aspect you have given in your evidence in chief. But for now, you are excused as a witness.
Thank you, Chief.
These proceedings are adjourned until tomorrow at 10 o'clock.